What's up? Hello, Ego here. So today I want to show you how I take really long recordings like modular jams and other long audio files that I take from my hardware and how I quickly fit those into pieces that I'm working on, like actual songs I'm producing and things like that. Because if you use hardware in your studio, you might have these super long jams and you're like, how the hell do I even use this? How do I fit this in? What's the most logical way to try and use a file like this and quickly, fit it up against a beat and make something dope out of it? So, first of all, before I start, if you end up really liking anything in this tutorial and you want to find out more, I do have a Patreon where I go over a lot of stuff like this. You can see right here I've got sample packs where I release a monthly sample pack of some crazy stuff I've designed. I do the monthly tutorial videos where it's a lot of things like these, but they are more in depth. I'll give you some track review, custom sample packs, and also I offer private lessons as well. So if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and check it out. The link is down in this video description. And on to the tutorial. So I might have some really long recordings like this, okay? Like this is just me sitting down and for half an hour, 25 minutes, I just sat down and recorded a long file from my Microfreak from Arturia, which is a fantastic little synth. You can see this is just one of like 11 files I have in one folder of my sound design folder. So like, what do you do with that? How on earth do you use this? Well, I have done a similar thing for my more recent recording on the Microfreak. I've done a similar thing in this track I'm working on right now. And I'm just going to let you listen to the drop here. So every one of those little squelchy cool sounds you hear in there, like all this is drums, bass, and that little Microfreak sound. That's all coming from this right here. And let's take a look and see what kind of processing we have on this. Oh, kind of a lot actually. If I turn all of it off, what do we got? That's the original sound I recorded from the Microfreak. So if I were to drag one of these files down and just expand it here, let's turn loop off, turn warp off, and just pull this all the way out, you'll see what I started out with. A really long file with such hits such as... It's kind of cool. It's not even a part that I used, right? I was only using little bits in here, I think. Yeah, those little stuff like that, those little squelchy bits, I end up like frequency shifting them down very far. And just taking these little chunks and tossing them in here. Now, how did I figure out what I wanted to have in there? Well, first of all, I would grab a little chunk of the audio like this. Let me just take a random chunk of it, slap this in here. I'm going to find another part with the beat. Let's just put it here and drop one and turn off what I had there. So now I've got this random sound. And already I'm kind of starting to hear a little bit coming out of this, right? I'm like, oh, maybe I can go like... But I want this to be a different sound. I don't want this to be here. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this little chunk of audio. I'm going to turn on warp. I'm going to say yes. I want to keep it at the current timing. I don't want to warp it or change or anything. I'm going to turn on loop. And now what I can do is I can use the start to scan through this file. Or I can just drag out to view the entire file. And I can scan through it like that. Maybe I want that sound there, and I want this to be something different too. So I'll hit Command E to split this area and find a new little chunk for that. Sounds like I already have a sound there. Let's mute this for the time being. Ah, there we go. So there's one of those crazy, like, super high-pitched sounds I used before. Yeah, so let's try that. And already I'm getting just a vibe from this. I'm going to duplicate this and switch the end here. Now I have 2 clips here. So if I wanted, what I could do is I could go through individually and be like, all right, I want a new sound for this. Let's go ahead and change the start position. I want a new sound for this one. Let's go ahead and change the start position. But instead of doing that, what I'm going to actually do is highlight both of them. And I'm on a Mac, so if you're on a PC, you got to figure out what it is for you. But for me, if I hold down Command, Option, and Shift, I can now drag through these files like so from their respective points, right? Like they're both in a different spot in their audio file. I'm just kind of scrolling through it like this. Do that. Just get a whole new little fill right there. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate all of this again and do that same thing. I'm just going to scroll through all of these and get a weird, different new variation. Now, it's not always going to work. You got to find the spots that work and like that fit. But it helps to generate ideas. Like, I don't really like that. Let's keep going. Nope, no thank you. That's kind of cool, but it's a little off time. So let's pull it on time like that. And then maybe I'll take this part here just to add some variation, right? Like this is the variation. Maybe we'll make it cooler by pitching it down, warping it. Obviously, this is complete and total gibberish, right? Like, this does not sound amazing in any way. But by using this technique, that's kind of how I wound up with a drop sound that ends up like this. Looks like I accidentally deleted some part of it, but let's go to this section here. Every single one of these is just one small section from a much larger area. And I do this process for almost everything that I work on. It's really the easiest way for me to use these very, very large recordings and kind of chop little sounds in and quickly scroll through the audio. So usually I throw like a beat down and get a good beat going. You know, just have my drums set up in a way where I can actually hear something up against it, you know? And now, like, no matter what I put into this, let's turn all of this off and just try an entirely different audio file and see what happens. I'm going to pick something at random. Hopefully it's not crappy. I know this one's not good. Heavy tune sound design. Maybe we'll do a little bit of something from here. Yeah, okay, here's a bunch of random stuff. Now, when I'm first throwing it in, I'll say, all right, here's my file. I might keep it unwarped and just move the start marker down here to try and find, like, see what's in here a little bit, right? Ah, like this area is kind of neat. So maybe I'll start here. I'll turn warp on, I'll turn loop on, and now I'm going to start playing around with chops. Maybe this will sound better if it hits on the beat like that. Nope. So maybe this just won't work at all. Let me scroll through, see what else I got. Yeah, that's cool. Throw this here. Oops. Throw that right there. Like, that's just so weird and squelchy and rubbery. So maybe I'm like, oh, it's cool, but it's not loud enough. I'll go ahead and get like an OTT and a saturator and throw that on there and see what I can pull out of this like hardware file. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I like that, actually. I should probably use this in the track. Oh my god, so good. What happens if I reverse it? So I'm going to consolidate. Command J, consolidate it, and reverse it. So squelchy and so strange. And really, I mean, you know, oftentimes you got to throw some processing on it to get it to really speak. So you're not just using random raw audio files, which could sound good sometimes, but I usually find a little processing makes them really pulls out like the intricacies of that file and things like that. So anyway, this is just a little taster into how I might use these long files. Once again, if you like this, if you want to find out more, go to my Patreon and check it out. All right, I'll even make you a sample pack, like using these techniques, taking crazy stuff out of my synths and just like throw it all in a pack for you, process it, chop it up, so you don't have to go through all this process of chopping things up. But if you like to explore audio, then I will show you a little more about how to do that. And yeah, that's it for now. Until next time, thanks for watching.